Well, good morning. I have been out enjoying the day here, but it is time to get some coffee going and make some breakfast. So it's late morning here, and this is my first cup of coffee for the day, believe it or not. I'm trying to take advantage of the nice cooler temperatures in the morning here. We've had a little bit of a heat wave here in Northern California where I'm at now. I'm up in Humboldt County, and I've been hanging around the Eureka area, but the last couple of days I've been hanging out in Trinidad. So Trinidad is just a bit north of Eureka, and it's right on the coast here, and it's a little bit cooler. So this is a bit better for me. So this is why I've been up here, just to escape some of the heat. And if you're wondering what the heat I'm escaping is, that's about 72 degrees down in Eureka. We're here in Trinidad, I think we're in the upper 60s. So a bit nicer of a temperature for me, but obviously not exactly hot. Now that I've got my coffee going, I need to get breakfast started as well. If you're new here, my name is Scott, although people call me other things other than Scott. If they do, I just ignore them because I figure they're talking to somebody else. But if you want to talk to me, my name is Scott, and I travel full-time in this 2013 Toyota Sienna minivan. And like I said, I am up here in the Trinidad area to avoid the kind of summer temperatures that we get here in Humboldt County, although they're not very warm temperatures. I just don't deal with heat very well. So it's kind of nice to be able to just move around a little bit to find weather that suits me better. So that's why I'm here in Trinidad. And no, I don't mean Trinidad and Tobago. There is a Trinidad here in Northern California. It's a beautiful little town. At the moment, I'm just cleaning out my AeroPress here. At the moment, we are in the ugliest part of Trinidad. This happens to be the state park, and it's just right outside of the downtown area of Trinidad. I have a hard time saying downtown because Trinidad is really just about a block and a half long is all. But this is actually the ugliest area in all of Trinidad, believe it or not. Take a look. Yeah, believe it or not, this is the ugliest part of all of Trinidad here. Although down there is a view down to Trinidad State Beach. And this is a parking spot for the State Beach. There's a little trail that'll take you down to the beach down below. But I just parked here because I wanted a nice spot to just sit and make some breakfast. And I managed to get this end spot here so that I won't have anybody parking next to me. Because normally I have my door open there. I open that door. Got it closed right now because what I'm going to cook for breakfast, I'm going to need to minimize the air that's blowing. I'm going to be making some biscuits for breakfast today, so put the kettle away and get my pan on the stove here, and I'm going to start heating this up right now. And then I bake these biscuits in a way by just putting another pan, if I can get it out of here, on top of this one. So that'll be my little oven. Turn that down. So that'll get preheating. And I should probably clean up my countertop a little bit here as well. And for that, I keep just a little spray bottle of white vinegar and just wipe it up with a paper towel. I've got this stainless steel countertop, so it makes this really easy to clean up quickly. There's no little gaps or areas for dirt to get stuck in. The stainless steel countertop is the way to go if you ask me. So I will need my coffee scale, and I'll need a mixing bowl, and I'm going to make these biscuits right in my mixing bowl here. Again, everything's kind of jammed in here. If I can get the bowl out of here, there we go. I'm going to make the biscuits right in the mixing bowl, and I'm going to weigh all the ingredients out, so these biscuits will go really, really quickly. Now, these biscuits are really easy to make, although I never remember the actual numbers for the ingredients here. So I've made up a little card for myself. I can just clip this up here. Right, 150 grams of flour. And I'm just going to dump this right into this mixing bowl. If that will stay zeroed out. This little scale I have is not the best quality scale, but it's pretty good. I've been complaining about it the last few times I've mentioned it, but I do need to just point out one nice thing about it. The battery life on it is incredible. You know, I make coffee a couple of times a day at least. I think yesterday I made 4 cups of coffee all day, so I'm using the thing all the time, and the last time I charged the battery was maybe 5 months ago or so. So, I mean, battery life is incredible, so I need to give it a little bit of credits. I like using a scale for this because I think it's, one, a little bit more precise, but 2, it's just faster. You know, it's just so much faster to just weigh the ingredients out. So I just tear out between each ingredient. So now I've got the scale back set to 0, and I'm going to aim for, let's see, 5 grams of baking powder. It was almost 5 grams there. Find, well, maybe that is 5 grams. See how it bounces around? That's my issue with this scale. Just got to remember that the battery life is incredible. So remember that and focus on that only, right? I'm going to call that 5 grams. I don't know why it's bouncing around more than usual lately. Then I've got some salts here. I always just use this pink Himalayan salt just because it's what I've been using for years. And I need, let's see, 3 grams of that. It's one thing I try to make sure I be a bit more precise on is the salt, because if they don't have enough salt, they're just kind of bland. And then the last thing is 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream, and I have recently weighed this out, so I think it is about 160 grams. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to stir this up a little bit. So I think that that's better to get the salt and the baking powder stirred up together into the flour before I put the heavy cream in. And this is just whipping cream or heavy cream, double cream I think it's called in some places. So 160 grams I think is about 2/3 of a cup. At least that's what I had measured out, so that's what I've been going with. And now I'm just going to take my spoon and stir this all up. And I like to do this right in the bowl just because it saves a little bit of cleaning up. I could actually do this right on my stainless steel countertop. I could just dump this out and do it right on the countertop, but I think it's just easier to at least start it here in the bowl and get it as mixed up as possible. And I used to use my hands, but I started out with the spoon just because that's, again, I found it is just easier to keep the mess down. Now that it's kind of mostly together, I can get in here with my fingers. Let me get rid of my scale here, move my baking powder out of the way. And did I wash my hands? I think I washed my hands. The sink's right there. I probably washed my hands. They're probably clean. So this comes together really quickly. I just want to get all of that flour combined here into the little dough ball. And I think that's pretty good. I'm going to dump this out on my countertop here and just flatten it out. And what to do with the bowl? Okay, and just flatten it out into a little rectangle, and then I'll cut it and get it into the pan or into my oven. Really, this is an oven that I'm setting up, so that's what we're going to cook them in. Bake them. I'm saying all the wrong things. I'm just going to take a sharp knife here and make some cuts on all the sides. That'll help them rise a little bit better. So they'll be a little more like a traditional biscuit. Although you don't really need to do that. They cook just fine. No matter how you cook them, you could just throw this thing right in there. See, I'm going to make 2 big, humongous ones there. And with these scraps, I'm just going to roll this up again, flatten it out one more time, and, well, actually, you know what? I was going to cut another one out, but since I made those a little bigger than I normally do, I think I'll just do this as a drop biscuit. So that one's probably good enough. Just try to get the scraps kind of together. I think that's good enough. So this one isn't going to rise quite as much as the others are, since I've cut the others and have a nice sharp edge on them, but it'll be just fine. So let me get this stuff out of the way and get these in here. Try to keep them so they're not touching, and get my other pan back on top to make the oven part of this. And that's it. About 8 minutes, I'll flip them over, do another 8 minutes, and then they'll be done. Not the quickest things, I guess, to bake, but gives me a little bit of time to put everything away and clean up a little bit. Oh, and enjoy my coffee, which is sitting there, just being neglected. I'm feeling a bit guilty with my coffee this morning. I'm not drinking my favorite coffee. Since I've been back here in this area, I've been drinking just coffee from one local roaster, which I think has the best decaf coffees, which is what I'm drinking right now, decaf. They have the best decaf I've ever had, and they are Fogline coffee roasters, and I just really like the decaf. It's just fantastic. It's a lighter roast decaf. It's roasted really well. Everything that Fogline does is just top quality. That's why they're my favorite. I guess multiple reasons of why they're my favorite. But since I am drinking decaf, they just have one decaf that they offer, which, you know, that's pretty normal. And I'm a real coffee drinker. I'm drinking coffee for flavor. So that's why I drink decaf. Real coffee drinkers drink decaf, and it's not an issue. If you're not a real coffee drinker, if you don't like coffee, then, you know, you might take issue with drinking decaf, but, you know, I have no issue with it. But since I wanted something different, just a little change up, I bought my second favorite decaf coffee from Flying Goats. Now, they are a Northern California company, but they are from 2 counties south. So they're not exactly local. So I'm kind of breaking my rules here of not drinking local coffee to where I'm at. But I'm still drinking both, and it's pretty nice that I have both of them to go back and forth with. And these are my actual number 1 favorite and number 2 favorite. So pretty cool that I have both of my favorites and I can switch back and forth from. There's a local baker here in town that sells this. This is the coffee that they use on their coffee bar. And I didn't realize that they use Flying Goat coffee until recently. And when I was starting to get a craving for just a little bit of a change, I went in there, and lo and behold, they had beans for sale. So that's how I wound up getting something that wasn't totally local. But I really like it. It's got a really good flavor to it, just slightly different than Fogline, but still very good. And it's nice to have options, I think. And we should probably check on our bread tier. No, I think we're doing okay. A couple more minutes before I need to flip them, which means a couple more sips of coffee. You do know that I was kidding when I was saying that this is the ugliest part of Trinidad. I mean, technically it's true. This is not pretty compared to the rest of this area, but that was just a joke. It's gorgeous here all over. Yeah, this is just kind of a nondescript parking area because it's part of the state park. I like it here. There's a restroom area down there. Those are not very pleasant, but you know, it's there. I think there's some water here too. There's trash cans. So it's a nice place to park if I just need a place to park for a little bit. Like today, you know, trying to prioritize breakfast this morning. So it's a good place to park here. And the view down there is pretty. We'll go down there later, but I think it's time to get back to our cooking. Let's see what these look like. I tried to flip these over a minute ago and ended up busting a corner off of this one. I think they're just about ready to flip over. They're pretty soft. They're pretty hot. They're pretty soft on top. That one looks good. This one's not quite as brown as that one, but I think they're all ready. Oh, I'm busting this one up too. I don't mind if a little piece falls off, because that's just a little bit of a taste for me. You know, it's the chef's secret when you're cooking alone in your own kitchen. You just get to taste the little bits that break off. I think we're okay there. I kind of mangled this one, but it's all right. Not that I'm a chef, by the way. I think I just messed up. I turned the heat up a little bit just to try to cook them a little bit quicker, and I think I got them a little bit too dark. Because that's not terrible, but a little darker than I normally like them. It's all right for that one, because that one's a little too light on the other side. Not sure about this one. Yeah, that one's okay. Even though it's breaking up into a million pieces already. Well, that's all right. Let me get this pan out of the way. And I think I'll cook a couple of eggs to go with these, because I need a little protein. I don't make biscuits very often, but when I went into the bakery the other day, they didn't have any bread. They didn't have the bread that I prefer, so they had a little bit there to offer, but not very much. So I just opted to skip it. I did buy the coffee beans, of course. So I just needed something to kind of bulk out my meals. I do mostly protein for meals nowadays. So lots of eggs, lots of local beef from the area here. It looks like an awfully small egg. But, you know, occasionally I will add just a little bit of some bread-like something, just because if I don't, I feel like I'm starving half the time. Now the question is, am I going to cook these eggs correctly, or am I going to mess these up too? So far, I'm doing okay. And try to flip these over. This is where things can go all wrong. No problem. No problem at all. Usually I do eggs pretty runny, you know, with a really runny yolk, but lately I haven't been feeling like eating them that way, so I've been doing them a little bit of a not so runny of a yolk, so that's on purpose there. And I should probably add a little bit of butter to one of these biscuits. One thing about this recipe is, since it uses whipping cream has a lot of butter in it. You know, if you're not aware, how to make butter is you take whipping cream and shake it up. So whipping cream has a lot of butter in it, so these already have butter in them since we use whipping cream, but a little bit of extra butter is not going to hurt anybody. The one problem I do face right now, though, is I don't have one of my favorite ingredients for eggs, which is my preferred hot sauce, some Yellowbird hot sauce. Don't have any. So I guess I'll just have to do these with some salt, and that'll be good enough for today. I need to get some Yellowbird. These yolks aren't totally set. They've got a little bit of runny in them. I like that. Just a little bit of runny egg yolk is good with me, but I don't know why I've just all of a sudden not like the runny egg yolks. Just happened just a few weeks ago. I ate 1.5 of these biscuits. I'm going to put the rest away here. They're still a little bit warm, so I'm just going to wrap them up in a paper towel and let them cool down a little bit. I might save those for breakfast tomorrow. This is a nice thing about this recipe, is it gives me plenty for 2 meals, and usually kind of more breakfast food for me. Although I might make some dinner out of it. Who knows? I did want to mention this pan that I used to cook the eggs in. This was also the top I used for my little makeshift oven to cook the biscuits. This is a De Beyer French-made carbon steel pan. I've had this for a long time. I've had this for several years, and I am very, very happy with it. But it may seem like I don't use it very much anymore. If you're a long-time viewer of my videos, you may not see me using it a whole lot. And the reason for that is it has become my egg pan. I eat so many eggs that I wanted to keep it just as a dedicated egg pan because it is the best non-stick egg pan I've ever owned. It does need to be cleaned out a little bit. You see it's not perfect anymore. Not that it really ever was, but even with it not being perfect and not, perfectly good seasoning all the way across the pan, I have no trouble with eggs with this, whether I'm doing scrambled eggs or over easy eggs or whatever I'm cooking. They just do not stick in this pan. So that's why I've been just using it just for eggs. And then for everything else, pretty much, I use this Stobe cast iron pan, but it's enamel on cast iron pan, so it's covered in enamel finish. It's just a glass-like finish, which is kind of nice when I'm being lazy, because with this Stobe pan, being that it does have that glass surface on it, I can clean it out with just a paper towel and some vinegar and not, really need to scrub it. If it doesn't need to be scrubbed in the sink, I just clean it out with a paper towel and vinegar and put it away. I bought a hook from Ace Hardware and just hang it up here now. I do have a magnet on the back here. This is a really strong magnet. So once I put it on the hook, and then it's a little awkward from this angle, but once I put it on the hook and then stick it up against the magnet, it's not going anywhere. So I kind of like the spot just for the kind of safety of it. I don't have to worry about it sliding around or flying around, but also it's kind of just right there at the ready for me because I use it for most everything nowadays. I like having it at hand. So if you were wondering why this pan hasn't been around a whole lot, I still use it every day, just only use it for eggs. Well, I just realized something here today. The reason I think I have not been liking the runny egg yolks is because the last eggs that I bought did not taste very good. And I think they tasted a little bit worse with the runny egg yolk. These eggs that I just bought, these are happy eggs, taste a whole lot better than the last batch I bought. So I don't remember what the other ones were. Chino Valley eggs, maybe? I forget exactly. But they were kind of funky tasting. So I think the next time I cook eggs, I'll go back to the runny yolks, as long as I've got these happy eggs. The big reason I came and parked up here today at this lot instead of down at the beach or one of the prettier areas around town here is that I was down at the beach all day yesterday. Wasn't feeling my best yesterday, so I just parked down at the beach and never left. And it was crowded, really crowded. Of course, it's beautiful down there, absolutely gorgeous, just stunning. And because we're in kind of a warm spell here in the area, I think everybody took the day off of work and went down to the beach, and it was just packed, just people everywhere. Few parking spots open during the day, but it was pretty packed for parking. So I thought, since I did spend all day down there, I should probably, I probably used up my welcome, but I should probably just park someplace else today, and it'll get me a little quieter spot to hang out here today. I was thinking that I might head down there at some point today, but I'm figuring still is pretty warm, so it's probably still going to be crowded down there. I kind of like it up here. We've got a few people coming and going, but it is much quieter here, which suits me better today since I had to put up with it being pretty loud and crowded yesterday. It just occurred to me that instead of me telling you that it is stunningly beautiful out here, we could actually go and look at it. So here we are. What do you think? I know I'm biased because this is my favorite part of the country, my favorite place really anywhere, but I think this is just absolutely stunning. Let's try to get a little closer here so you get a little better view down there. There's a trail here that goes from the parking lot down to the beach. I don't know if we're going to go all the way down. It's a little warm in the sun, at least for me. In the shade it's pretty nice, but here in the sun, a bit much. But we'll take a little walk, part way down anyway. Now, this part of the trail I don't mind at all. It's covered over completely. Nice and cool down here. This is okay. This trail splits off from the parking lot, so it comes down and then it makes a T, so you can go kind of back toward the city town of Trinidad, going the other way. We're heading down to the State Beach, although the State Beach is pretty big here. It runs all the way along, so you can get down to the State Beach on either side. Nice little place to walk around during the day, but again, I have to do it on cooler days. I just have to mind the temperature a little bit. And back out into the sun where it feels much warmer. This spot's kind of cool because we get a little better look at that little rock outcropping. I guess many rock outcroppings down there. Very cool down there. I guess we'll just keep going. I feel pretty good today, so we'll push on. Been a little while since I've been down this trail. I forgot how steep it is. Gets a little bit steeper up ahead, but fantastic views on this trail here. And there's another little split here. You can go back up into the woods a little bit, or you can go straight down to the beach on this section. And either way you go, you'll eventually get back down to the beach again, wherever you want to end up. Nice little place to hike, especially on cooler days. I think though, for me, too warm today, so we've got to look out at this, but I'm not going to go all the way down. Unfortunately, I just can't. The very first time I walked down this trail, I was just so enamored of this whole area that I think I hiked about 6 miles. I went back in that direction and up in front of us, just kept walking back and forth and up and down to the beach, back up into the trees. This is such a great area out here. So tell me, am I right or am I right? This is just a stunningly beautiful place. And of course, it's always the place I come to. If it's going to be hot in the city, I head up here and just spend a day or two to escape the heat, since it's always cooler. Pretty nice to know that I have a little relief from the heat in the summertime. So great little spot up here. I'm surprised to see how many cars are in the parking lot here. It doesn't usually get this filled up. It's probably an indication that the lower parking lot down at the beach is jammed up and people are coming up here and using this for overflow parking, because obviously you can get down to the beach from here. It's just a little farther walk. Okay, I took a little nap. I did. And now I want some coffee. Now, it is surprisingly comfortable here in the shade, but out in the sun is a whole different story. A little bit too warm for me. And I know it's not that warm, but I was trying to check what the temperature was exactly. I can't tell. It feels kind of like mid-70s, so maybe it's a little warmer than what they forecast it to be here, but in the shade, totally fine. And I was checking the weather to see how much longer we've got with this warmer weather. Warmer, I know, haha. But it looks like there's only a few more days of the warmer weather going on here. So that means I don't have to hide out up here in the north part of the county for too much longer. I can go back down to the Eureka area, in and around Eureka, like I usually do. Although it is really nice to have an excuse to come up here, especially here to Trinidad. It's kind of one of my favorite little towns to hang out in. I just don't hang out here a whole lot. And a lot of times I don't drive up here because it seems like a long drive to get out here from Eureka. It really isn't, but it just kind of seems like it. And so I just don't really drive out here very much. A helicopter just flew over and landed right next door here. Wow, that was loud and messy. It was blowing a bunch of debris everywhere, which reminded me I need to clean my solar panels, and I bought something to kind of help me do that. Not sure if it's going to work or not. They probably really need it now after all that flying stuff in the air. Loud, very, very loud. I think I'm going to just take a minute and drink a few sips of coffee first, and actually I'll get some butter out and eat the other half of that biscuit that I started on this morning. These are really good, especially with the extra butter slathered all over them. I usually say that it's a butter delivery device when I'm talking about some kind of bread-like product. It's really just so I can eat more butter. That's the only thing. I don't care what the bread is, really. I just want the butter. So that's what I've got here. I forgot to mention I'm drinking Fog Line this time. So my number one favorite. I don't think I've ever had my number one favorite and number two favorite decafs on hand at the same time, so it's cool to be able to kind of A/B test them and maybe A/B taste them, I should say. And doing it this way, I can definitely say that the Fog Line is absolutely my favorite. Although the Flying Goats is a very close second. I mean, it's very good on its own. Just something about Fog Line, the way they roast. Maybe it's slightly lighter of a roast. Maybe that's why I like it. I don't know, but I like this. So, my solar panels. There's an issue I've had with these solar panels versus my old van. My old van wasn't nearly as wide, and so this van was quite a bit wider, so I bought these solar panels that were bigger. So I've got a lot more reach to span across them to clean them, which is a problem because my old van I could just step on one door, on the edge of one door, and reach up and clean half of them, actually more than half of them, my arm's length, and then get the other half from the other side doing the same thing. Because these are so wide, I can't get halfway across them with my arm span. So that's why I looked into getting something to help me clean them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I was going to sit and have a little snack and drink a little coffee. We'll get to the cleaning in a moment. You know, cleaning's not my favorite thing. I don't know whose favorite thing it is, but it's certainly not my favorite thing. Yeah, these are pretty dirty. I was expecting them to look worse after the helicopter flew over. So these definitely need to be cleaned either way. So if my arms are not long enough to reach the width of the panel, I need to just buy a window squeegee, right? That would be the perfect thing. But I do need something more than just a squeegee, so I'd need something probably like they have at the gas stations that have the little foam on the back so that you could scrub off the glass and then turn it over and use a squeegee to squeegee it clean. But I don't like the idea of that because of the foam. If the foam gets wet, and it's probably going to have to get wet if I am going to need to clean the panels off, how am I going to store that little wet piece of foam until it dries out? So I didn't like the idea of that. So I went to the dollar store and I found this. It's like a little broom made of rubber. It has these little rubber fingers on them. And then on the back side, it has a little kind of makeshift squeegee. So I'm going to try this and see if this works. Now, I needed something to give me a little more reach. So I also bought a broom handle at the dollar store. This was $1.25. Each of these things was $1.25. But with the broom handle, it really shows. I had this all of about 10 minutes before I put a big bend in it. And then since I've stepped on it and bent it another couple of times. So not the best quality, but hopefully it'll work. And it was a little bit too long. So I actually just popped the handle off, cut it down with my hacksaw, and then put the handle back on to cover up the rough end. So I think this should be just long enough for me to have enough reach across that I can clean the solar panel from one side of the van without having to get over to the other side of the van. But first things first, I need to get some water up on the panels, and the easiest way for me to do that is to use my little shower head here. So this is a shower head on an end of a long hose, and I think it'll give me just enough reach to be able to reach up there and spray the panel down. I actually can't see where I'm spraying, so I'm just going to put some water up here. Hopefully I'm spraying off some of the dirt. I don't know how good this is for cleaning, at least the little bristles here. I guess let's give the squeegee a try. I'm not expecting a whole lot for $1.25, but anything's better. You know, I've been lazy about keeping these clean because we've had plenty of sun here, but summer's going to be over soon. And when that happens, and it's cloudy most days, I'm going to want these cleaned so that I can get as much power coming in as possible. Well, I don't know. I can't tell if this is really going to be helpful in the long run or not, but something's better than nothing. So we'll give this a try for a while and see how it goes. Probably have to let those dry before I'll know what it really looks like. But this is a nice little simple setup, and I don't have to worry about this sitting rotting away all wet like a regular squeegee. So I'm hoping this works. Well, this has not exactly been a productive day, but I guess they can't all be entirely productive. Though I did get a couple little things done. I'm curious to see if that squeegee solution is actually going to be a long-term solution. Be nice if it would be. I don't usually have much success at the dollar store, so it's new territory for me. The other thing I got done, making those biscuits, I don't think that's going to carry out over till tomorrow. I think I'm going to get into that biscuit in a couple of minutes because I want more butter. You know, after that helicopter flew over, I was thinking it was looking a little hazy outside, and then I thought, well, it's probably just stuff in the air that the helicopter kind of stirred up, but it's still looking a little bit hazy. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here, since I'm facing the sun at the moment, but looks a little bit hazy. I don't know what that means exactly. Well, would you look at that? The parking lot is mostly cleared out here. I guess everybody has gone home, so I guess I should probably do the same. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.